Hi, my question is for both Virat and Ravi, sir. I just wanted to ask the likes of Jinkar Rahane, Shan Sharma and Umesh Yadav have already said that the World Test Championship final is equivalent to playing the World Cup final. Do you feel the same, or does adding such tags increase the pressure?
See, it's the first time that you have a Test Championship final. So,
recording in progress.
When you look at that and the magnitude of the game that's going to be played, I think this is the biggest. If not the biggest ever, because it's the toughest form of the game. It's a format that tests you. It's not happened over 3 days or 3 months. It's happened over 2 years, where teams have played each other around the world and earned their stripes to play the final. So it's one heck of an event, this.
Yeah, I agree with the same. I think this holds a lot of value, especially this being the first of its kind, and in the toughest format, as Ravi mentioned. All of us take a lot of pride in playing Test cricket, and the way we have progressed as a side is an example of what Test cricket means to us. So for all of us as a unit, those who have been part of the Test side for many years, this is like an accumulation of all the hard work of not just the duration of the championship, but of the last 5-6 years since the time we started really coming up the ranks and building as a side, and we're just very, very happy to have the opportunity to play the finals.
Srinivas Rao.
Hi. Taking forward the same question, Test cricket is also about moments like what happened in Australia, back-to-back series wins. So does this one game marked as a final really is it a proper way to culminate kind of a 2-year journey which has otherwise been fantastic? I mean, is it Test cricket about moments that are conquered series by series?
I think ideally, in the long run, if they want to pursue with this Test Championship, a best of 3 final would be ideal. A 3-match series as a culmination of 2.5 years of cricket around the globe. But
CBSC is note that has been given. It has been mentioned that all those students who feel that the assessment which has been
no, so it's ideally going forward. I think best of 3 would have been ideal, but we've got to finish it as quickly as possible because of the FTP that will start all over again. So one-off is a one-off, and the guys have earned their stripes. I mean, this is not a team that has suddenly blossomed overnight. Like Virat said, 5-6 years, 5 years, number one. And when you start being on top or playing cricket at the highest level and competing against the best, you have the ability to pull yourself out of tough situations, as you have seen time and time again. Not just Australia, not just England. If you see over the last 2 years, there have been many times where this side has pulled itself out of big problems and then gone on to win series. So I think a final is a great victory for the boys, really.
Yes, everyone, you must keep yourself on mute. Once you ask the question, please keep yourself on mute. Harit Joshi.
Hi. Considering what this team has done in Australia, do you look England as the final frontier for this team?
Well, I don't think that there's any frontier for us. I mean, if you look at our transition was really smooth because we are all committed to keeping Indian cricket on top and being the best team in the world, and we've continued to do that. In Test cricket, we have finished number 1 for a few years in a row now, and now you see youngsters coming in. So another transition is going on within the team. So I don't think this is the final frontier, and after this, we have no idea where to go. This is an ongoing process to keep the standard of Indian cricket high, and we have done our duty for the last 5-6 years with absolute commitment. Now the transition phase is going on, where our responsibility is to instill the same passion and commitment in the next lot of players so that we remain on top for more years to come. And that's how the progress of cricket really happens. So we have worked hard for the finals. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that we were probably going to be the first team to be featuring in that final because of the way we played in the last few years Test cricket. So for us, it's just about keeping those standards high. And it's like football. If you win 1 Champions League, you don't stop working hard. You want to win 2 and 3 and 4. So this is exactly our mindset. If you've made it to the final once, we absolutely want to win it, and then on to the next, restructure, plan, move ahead for the next 3-4 years, and then again plan to be the top side in the world.
Neeru Bhatia and then Amol Karadkar.
My question is for Kohli and Virat. Do you think there's a bit of a tad lopsided this preparation going into the final? New Zealand's there. It's going to be playing 2 test matches against England. They'll have more time to acclimatize, whereas the Indian team won't have that kind of liberty or that kind of option to even have a practice game or as such. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I look, in the past we've landed in places 3 days prior, even in a proper schedule, and have had hell of a series and hell of competition. So I think it's all in the head. If it's how you look at the situation currently. It's not the first time you're playing in England. We all know what the conditions are like. And even if you're used to the conditions, if you don't enter the field in the right frame of mind, you're going to nick that first ball or you're going to find it tough to pick wickets. So I think the hunger and the desire to be there and play the finals, we don't have any issues even with 4 practice sessions heading into the game, because we are absolutely sure of what we can do as a team. And we all have played in England. We all have played in England before this as well, whether it's with the Indian team or India A as well, for the likes of Siraj and them. They've all had experience there in the conditions, so we are not bothered by that at all. And we just want to get there and make the most of the opportunity at hand.
Amol, yes, hi. I would like to ask either or both, whatever. It's all but certain now that there will be 2 India spots in 2 different countries at the same time. Coach, do you see it as a one-off, or do you, with the kind of dynamics involved in the evolution of cricket, do you think it will be a more frequent affair, and how challenging does it become from a planning perspective?
Well, you never know. At the moment, it's happening because of the current situations and restriction in travel and things of that sort. But you never know. In the future, if you want to expand the game, especially in the shorter formats of the game, then it could be the way to go. Why not? When you have that much volume of cricketers, and if you want to spread the T20 game across the globe, then that could be the way ahead. Because if you're talking of Olympics in 4 years or 8 years' time, then you need more countries to play the game. So that could be a way forward.
R. Kaushik.
Hi Virat. Just wanted to know, can you contrast your headspace of the 3 testers of England you've taken? How is the Kohli of 2021 different from the one that boarded the flight in 2014 and 2018?
Well, firstly, I'm 4 years older, so that's one difference. But apart from that, I don't think the mindset has changed at all. The mindset was always to go there and perform for my team. Then I had a chance to lead in 2018, and contrary of the acceptance on the outside, we understand the kind of cricket that we played there, and how much pride we took out of playing the way we did, competing in every game, and literally losing every test match in a span of hour and a half. We were never outplayed, barring the test at Lords. So I only see it as an evolution of my situation, my position in the team. Now we're going there for the World Test Championship Finals, which if in 2014 you would have told me 7-8 years down the line we'll be going to England again to play a World Test Championship Final, I would have had a tough time to believe that. And then 2018 was the start of us really going out there and performing away from home, really having that belief. Then Australia happened. So it's no different, to be honest. I've stopped looking at things as ultimate tasks and tests that you need to pass every now and then. For me, it's about just being committed to making sure that I contribute in every game that I play for the team and lead in the right manner to keep moving the team forward.
I'll answer that. Kohli of 2014 and now, he's slimmer first of all, he's fitter, he's captain of the side and India's most successful captain, and he's only 5,500 runs richer.
Varun Shetty next.
Hi, this is directed at both of you. I think you and England are right now the only teams who have packed schedules. For India, that means time in England now with the WTC and the bilateral, followed by the IPL, followed by the World Cup. So I wanted to know, both from a captain and a coach's perspective, what the challenges are in terms of workload, because Indian cricket has been big on maintaining workload, and of course, what have you offered to the team in terms of mental balance through this phase?
Okay. Well, I'll probably touch upon that a little more and elaborate that answer. Taking on from the previous question that was asked to Ravi Bhai about, two squads in different places. With the current structure and the kind of structure that we are competing inside, it's, to be very honest, for a long period of time, it's very difficult for the players to stay motivated and find the right kind of mental space, just confined in one area and just doing the stuff day in, day out and, dealing with high pressure situations. So this will definitely become a norm of the future where, apart from the workloads, I think the mental health side of things will also come into the picture big time, because you don't have an outlet at all in today's day and age. You're literally going to the ground, coming back to the room, and you have no space where you can just disconnect from the game and just go out for a walk or go out for a meal or a coffee and say, okay, let me refresh myself. Let me just get away from the game a little bit. So I think this is a huge factor which should not be neglected, because as much hard work as we've done to create this team, you don't want players falling out because of the mental pressures and not having the capacity or the space to express themselves. So I think there has to always be that channel open, which the management has left it open, for players to approach them and tell them, look, I'm not feeling right in the head and I just need a little break and I just want to disconnect from the game. So I think that's going to be a huge factor, and I'm sure Ravi Bhai and the management feels the same.
And you'll see it during the Test series. When you, I'm not talking of the World Test Championship, but if you want to add that as well, when you have to play 5 Test matches in this environment in 6 weeks, it's no joke. I mean, even the fittest will need a break. More than the physical part, it's the mental part. Like Virat mentioned, you can be destroyed mentally. Being asked to do the same things day in, day out, and then go and perform. And it's not easy to recover, especially if you've had a bad day. So, it's important that you shuffle the guys around and keep them mentally fresh. This is not the physical part of it. It's keep them mentally fresh because of the circumstances prevailing.
We'll be taking last few questions from Kushan Sarkar.
Yeah, my question is for Virat, and carrying forward that question, do you feel it's a bit of a difficult that after the World Test Championship, there is an intensity going, and then there is a month, 6 week, nearly a 6 week gap before again you start playing against England. So is it a good thing or a bad thing when you are getting into that intensity and again there is a 6 week gap?
Well, I feel like, after you're done with the World Test Championship, I think it's a great opportunity to refresh, restructure. Hopefully if things are okay, out in England we would have finished our quarantine periods, and just for the guys to be normal for a few days and just disconnect again, because understanding that we have the pressure of a 5-match series. So like in Australia, to be very honest, if we had to compete inside a bubble for that long a period of time through the whole tour, it would have been very, very tough. The fact that we had a little bit of freedom to go out and just access the kind of things that the locals gave us a bit more space and a bit more time to reset and refresh. So I think it's absolutely fine. It'll give us time to regroup as a side and prepare again for a long series, and that kind of a setup is very important before you go into a lengthy series. And we know that playing 5 tests in England can be very challenging and daunting. So we want to have the most amount of time before that series to set up for those 5 games and just be in that zone from there on.
Akshay Sawai.
Yeah, hi Virat. As a football fan, is there anything that you are going to take from the Champions League final or the Premier League campaign and apply it here?
Not really. For me, as a football fan, I like to just see how teams play, the belief with which they compete, and that's it. Special things happen to the teams that believe, and that's the only kind of inspiration I take out when I see the top clubs in the world, what is the mindset? Collectively, what are the players striving to do? Wanting to be the best players in the world individually, and then collectively as a team, they are unbeatable. So these are the things that stand out for me, and the champions usually stay in that mindset for longer periods of time. So that's about the only thing.
Yeah. Final two questions now. Sanju, Samir.
Hi, Virat. Basically, the conditions for the World Test Championship final will be similar to what New Zealand is used to at home, and they can be really tough in those conditions. So, what were the lessons learned from the last tour of New Zealand?
I think play better Test cricket. That's all. Conditions are as potent for New Zealand as they are for us. Australian conditions should have favoured Australia, but we beat them twice in 2 series. So it's how you look at the situation. If you want us to board the flight from here feeling like New Zealand's got the edge, then there's no point taking that flight. We are going to board that flight knowing that we are at equal terms, and whichever team performs well session by session, hour by hour, is going to win that championship, and we have no doubts on that.
Final one now, Ravish Bish.
Hi Virat, Ravish this side from News Nation. विराट मेरा सवाल ये है कि 2017 चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी, 2019 वर्ल्ड कप एंड इंग्लैंड में एक और बड़ी चैंपियनशिप यानी कि आईसीसी वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप, कितना बड़ा चैलेंज आप इसको अपने लिए देख रहे हैं? इलैबोरेट करें थोड़ा सा टीम के पर्सपेक्टिव से भी।
मेरे लिए तो कोई चैलेंज नहीं है। टीम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से काफ़ी चैलेंजिंग समय रहा है हमारे लिए। अभी तो हमारा एंजॉय करने का टाइम है। एक मैच हमने 5-6 साल जो मेहनत करी है, जैसे मैंने बोला, उसको एंजॉय करने का समय है अभी। तो हमारा देखने का नज़रिया काफ़ी अलग रहता है जैसे लोग सोचते हैं बाहर उससे। अगर हम लोगों की तरह सोचेंगे तो परफॉर्मेंस नहीं हो पाएगा। तो मेरे ऊपर तो कोई प्रेशर नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं इस पोजीशन में जहाँ पे मुझे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी गई है, ना मैं किसी मोटिव की वजह से, ना मैं किसी दूसरे रीज़न की वजह से इस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को निभा रहा हूँ। मैं सिर्फ इंडियन क्रिकेट को आगे ले जाने के लिए कमिटेड हूँ, जो मैं रहूँगा जब तक मैं ये गेम खेलूँगा। तो मेरे ऊपर ना तो कभी पहले प्रेशर रहा है और ना आगे रहेगा, क्योंकि जब तक मैं 100% कमिटेड हूँ टीम के लिए और अपने टीममेट्स की हेल्प कर रहा हूँ, वो एक दूसरे की हेल्प कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ यही चीज़ हमारे लिए मैटर करती है। और ये हमारा जो फाइनल है उसे एंजॉय करने का समय।